to Mom Bay and Beyond. Today, we're going to talk about the equipment needed that I use to make Indian food. There is a lot of stuff here, but a lot of it you probably already have. The most important thing to any cook is their knife. This is my favorite chef knife. It's a good balanced knife. I use it for a lot of my chopping, everything. But if you do purchase a knife, look for one that the blade and the tang is all one piece forged, and then the handles are riveted to that. If you don't use that, or have a cheaper knife set that just has the handles into the rubber plastic, after a little bit of use they will break and cut you. I know from personal experience. So, the next knife I love is my little paring knife that goes with my set. The third knife I always reach for, this is probably my go-to for everything. This is a Japanese cleaver. It's perfectly balanced, sharp. Another knife that comes with my Japanese set is this one. It's a good chopping knife, it has a good feel in my hand. And then my Chinese cleaver. This is a good, heavy, all-purpose cleaver. Numerous uses. You can use it as a wood scraper, garlic press, whatever. The next thing that I want to talk about is a cutting board. There are a lot. You can do plastic, which this is a plastic nylon type. It's very good. I like it over a wood cutting board because it is easier to clean. The dishwasher, throw it in. Since I don't have a dishwasher, a little bit of a bleach type cleansing spray or soak it in bleach. Next thing is a board scraper. From folding up dough to scraping flour off, clean up, whatever. This is a great tool to have. The next knife I use is this. This is a zester. If we're going to take the zest off of a lemon, very easy. The next thing I use is a pastry blender. The pastry blender is used to cut fat, either butter, flour, into the flour to make biscuits or some types of bread. The next one is the grater. This is my favorite one. It's a 6-sided grater, a little bit more stable than it has a nice coarse grate and a fine grate, and I really like to use that fine grate. Speaking of graters, this one. This real fine one right here is also called a microplane. I use it most exclusively for grinding nutmeg, but I've used it before for chocolate, nuts, anything I just want a real fine grate. A scale. A digital scale works great, especially in baking, because it's more precise to weigh than to use a displacement volume method. My other favorite tool, right here. It's Tupperware. It's an egg separator. Greatest invention. I love. A garlic press. This one is a nice one. It has a cleaner that you can use for garlic, and also you can do ginger with it too. The next thing, a dish or ice cream scoop. I use it for dividing dough. Probably the most common one I use is when I make gulab jamun. Now the controversy: hand crank or electric can openers. I like the hand crank. They're easy to clean and they're not hard to use. A good vegetable peeler. A next thing is a mandolin. If you're not familiar with a mandolin, it is a very sharp blade, and you can take this part out and add different types of blades. You can do like large julienne, small julienne. I love it, but make sure you use the handle. This thing will cut your fingers to death. And you just put your thing in and you go there. If you have a lot of onions to slice, tomatoes, anything like that, it is a great option. This, you can use a regular colander, but this one I love it. I can use it for several things. With it being small, I can use it as a sifter. Also, it has legs, so I can, drain pastas. Also, drain when we drain rice and all that, which is a very shortening measures. There's several sizes. This is a 1 cup, but they actually have some that are just like up to 2 tablespoons. And if you're measuring something thick like molasses, honey, or oyster sauce, this is a great thing to have. But this large one, yogurt, shortening, peanut butter, anything that's sticky, hard to get out, these are great to have. A mortar and pestle. This thing, we use it some in Indian foods, like for crushing up green cardamom pods, and some small masalas I make that I just want to crush. But also, another thing is, good garlic press on the bottom. You can get them in wood, steel, aluminum, that type, or marble. If I was getting one, I'd get marble, because simply the wood is harder to keep clean and there's more of a chance of flavor migration going over from it. Next thing you need are good spatulas. I like the silicone ones. This is one of my favorite ones. This is a Pampered Chef one. My mom has one she's used 15, 20 years, still looks this good. I really enjoy it. The next thing is, we're going to talk about measuring. And this is my go-to for any large measurements. It's a large Pyrex type bowl. You can use it for mixing, measuring large amounts, even watering plants. That's really good at this. Measuring spoons. I like a heavy set that has a good ring attached so you don't lose it. Also, I have a set of measuring cups that I had, and these are all good. A lot of my cooking stuff I've ordered through a restaurant supply house online, and they have really great prices, wonderful service. They're local out of Tennessee, K.A. Tom. They really have great prices and great quality merchandise. Okay, need some good bowls. I like this as a melamine type bowl or a metal bowl. I don't like glass because I'm more prone to dropping them. But just a good set of bowls I like to have. Next thing is this. It's called a spider. It is for deep frying to remove things out of. I love it. It has bamboo on the handle, and usually these are made of brass, so it stays cooler to the touch. Going along with our Asian Chinese cooking chopsticks. Yes, these are about 16 inches long. They're great for removing, pieces of food that you've done, especially like tempuras and deep fries. I like a good metal turner. This is one of my favorite ones because it's flat and stiff, great for when we do doses. A wok chan for stir frying. Then my favorite one, a fish turner. Silicone, get in anything big and heavy, that type, it does a great job. Several wooden spoons I have. I like a big heavy one. And these, I really like this type. This is made out of cherry. They're nice, they're easy, and you can scrape the bottoms of a nonstick skillet. Plastic you can use too, but this is why you do not need to use light color in cooking Indian. This is after making chana masala. The turmeric has stained it. So, I like a meat fork, and then whisk. There's two types. This is just a regular whisk. Notice how heavy the tines are. This is great for combining things, making a dough. And then there's this, a French bouillon. Notice how lighter the metal is, more tines. This is really good to incorporate air, like if you're making a meringue or something like that. The next thing I want to go over is our wok and our cooking equipment. This is a wok. It's a round bottom, and it has a ring. What you need to do is, for an electric or a flat stove, use this. And when we use a wok, put this on there, and you want it on highest heat as you can. This is a carbon steel wok. They're like a cast iron skillet. They need to be seasoned. Mine needs some work on, but I've only used it a couple times. And it's great for stuff. If you don't want to use that type of wok, this is a second wok that I use. This is a non-stick one, and it's great. Nice size, good weight, non-stick, and it's probably... The next one is a set of pots. And what do I use? This is some of my favorite one. It's something I found out about a couple years ago, and I got a set around last year, and it's just, this is Cajun cookware. It's there's several companies that make it. It's the old Monadnock. It's heavy cast aluminum, great. I would recommend, several sizes. If not, good non-stick pans. Any type of pan you use, you want a very thick, heavy bottom. And if you see this right here, that is damage done by a mouse. A couple years ago, I came in and opened my pot drawer. It had been closed for a couple days, and come to find out, a mouse had got in there and chewed the rubber off some of my cookware. And another one I love is this. Is a covered Dutch oven. It goes along with my set. It does really good. I use it for anytime I make a masala that I need to have a large area to for evaporation to happen. So this is a good heavy one. Also, a couple other things I use. Cast iron skillet. Wonderful. Cast iron skillet, it does take a little bit more upkeep than non-stick, but it'll last you forever. And a tip, if you do want to use cast iron, do not go and buy a new one. Go to garage sales, yard sales, flea markets. Find the old ones, because that may have had 50 years of seasoning. And it just does. Go for a good heavy cast iron skillet. They last forever. Just make sure no dishwasher. You don't keep them wet. They will rust. A couple other pieces of equipment I do keep is this. The first one is a coffee grinder. This is an electric coffee grinder. I like the type like this that has the removable cup. Oh, it smells so good. But it's never ground a coffee bean in its life. This is my spice grinder from making large batches of a masala, like we did in our video, making the biryani masala. It does very good. Also, a good blender. The blender that I have is a cooking blender. It can, make soups and another feature that I like in them is one that it's like a food processor, where if the lid's not locked on, it won't start. And that because I've had an accident where the blender cut on with no lid. So I like that because it saves cleaning. A food processor I like. I have the big one and also a little one, and they both work really good. But this is just kind of a great overview of what I do when I cook Indian. Some of the equipment I use. You don't need all this, but definitely, if I was going to cook Indian or anything, have me a good set of pans, a good knife, a good cutting board. But most of all, the most important ingredient in any type of cooking is to have fun. A dish cannot taste great unless you have fun making it and you make it with love. I thank you, and I'll see you next time.